for our intro,
Yeah.
while she's saying like, "Welcome to Yappin' in the Stacks with Katie and the Diet Boys," you could have, or me, could have the little fridge that's in my office, and I pull out Diet Boys for us. Yeah. And I hand one over to you, like,
and one to lady and one to me.
And then set one for her, and then crack one open.
Oh yeah, that.
Welcome to Yappin' in the Stacks with Katie and the Diet Boys. Y'all are too late.
Yeah. Welcome to Yappin' in the Stacks.
Pause.
With Katie and the Diet Boys.
Welcome to Yappin' in the Stacks with Katie and the Diet Boys. You gave him the wrong one. Take 3. Welcome to Yappin' in the Stacks with Katie and the Diet Boys.
That was pretty good, though. I don't think we need.
You don't like it? We can.
It's very Mr. Rogers.
Full controls
the
in.
little
Which one?
The little
The
Yeah.
Take that, extend that like by like half a second. Oh, that was like that was more than
No, that's good.
That's good.
That's good.
I think we should zoom it in and look at it. And we got like half a beat there, so we just cut that back.
Yeah.
And
Oops. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. The little
From the
little
top.
bit at the Hey, you know what's funny? The mic's not plugged into the camera. So why don't you say where we're at, why we're there, and then we'll go from there.
Got it. So we are here at the Martin Public Library in downtown Martin. And we are currently in the library on the second floor in the adult collection area in the new arrivals section. And we're in the new arrivals section, as Rich said, because we are new. So we wanted to feature our new books.
And we've each picked some.
Yeah, and we don't have to go
New
through
arrivals.
each title, but
No.
if you want to know more, stop by,
And
call us up,
our stacks will change
comment,
wherever we go.
ask us about the new books. We'll respond, do our best.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we're gonna have a lot of comments,
A lot.
and interaction.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
But I mean, we'll do our best to keep.
You know, I always wondered about that on is it on Facebook maybe on some? I think
YouTube.
Facebook or YouTube Live. On YouTube Live, where
And
they're
Facebook
like
Live
you can
too.
slow down the
Yeah.
comments so that if they're coming in so fast, you can slow it down so you have.
I'm sure we'll have that problem.
So you have time to get
course
that.
we will.
You know, of course we're not going live either.
No,
Yeah.
not yet. Maybe
Who
one day.
knows? That could be in the future.
So
Might be.
this episode is our first episode.
Mac Attack on the Street.
Mac Attack.
Mac
on the
Attack
Well-
on the Street. Well, that might be a featured subject or
Maybe later,
later.
once we
But-
figure some things out.
Yeah, we are going to TNLA next week, Rich and I, and Mac, who will
I'm not.
has
Try
yet
to
to be
talk to
seen
some
on the
people.
pod, but will probably at some point be seen on the pod.
Maybe.
So let's.
If we can
Could you tell us what TNLA is
Sure.
for people who don't know the acronym?
Absolutely. So a lot of people, there's so many acronyms for everything.
Oh, and Tennessee loves them. Yeah, there's an acronym for everything.
Education loves them too. So
Yeah,
does Library
yeah.
World. So TNLA stands for the Tennessee Library Association.
Okay.
And so the conference this year is in Chattanooga. They usually, like, every year we move around and they try to, like, alternate west, middle, east Tennessee. So we're in West Tennessee. We're going to East Tennessee next week, but next year it'll probably be in West Tennessee.
Okay.
So that's exciting.
So is that just people from all libraries across Tennessee, or just state libraries across Tennessee?
No, it's from any library in Tennessee.
Any
So
library. So
Is
it
that-
could be a
academic,
university.
I was gonna say, is that
school,
even
public.
academic?
Now, I will
Yeah.
say that most of the content at the Tennessee Library Association conference is geared toward academic and public librarians, but there is some school library stuff.
Okay.
The school librarians actually have a separate association,
Okay.
but they can also be
But they're
involved.
invited.
Yeah, they're invited. They're absolutely included.
Neat.
But
Awesome.
the most useful content at the conference is usually for public and academic librarians.
I mean, I
Is
feel
there-
like a lot of stuff crosses over anyways.
For sure. And you can apply, even if it's
Yeah.
not. Oh, you need to
Crosses
talk
over?
louder.
I just couldn't hear you.
You can
It was
hear me. You can hear
quiet.
me. Don't get after me now.
You know,
Just like you were told at the radio interview, you gotta
Yeah.
you gotta project.
Yeah.
use your
I'm
diaphragm.
sorry, I gotta.
Yeah, you gotta use your diet, boys.
Not do that. Whoa. What dive boys are we talking
Wait a minute now. Blooper here.
Anyway, back to the topic at hand. What is there anything that you are looking forward to most at the conference this year?
Well, one, just seeing my people, because the library people are a special kind of people. And you don't have to be a librarian to be a library person, because we have lots of patrons that I would definitely also categorize into that, library people.
Yeah.
But I'm also very excited about the reception, which is always a lot of fun. And this year we're going to the Chattanooga Lookouts game.
Yeah.
And I hope to be doing some content for the pod.
Awesome.
Katie on the street.
Katie on the street.
Mac might be on the street too.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I'll
I
be
told
there
her.
too.
She said she'd do it.
I'll be there. This
Rich.
is my first conference.
Rich on the street.
First time.
Michaela's excited. 2 years ago was her first conference.
Yeah.
She stayed in the hotel room a lot, but last year she got a little involved.
Okay.
So we'll see what she gets into this year. See what Mac on the street gets into this year.
Mac on the street.
You
But
never
she's
know.
going to be at the conference. It's a
Yes, she
fabulous. Yeah, but she's not going to be on the street. She's going to be in the
Oh, well, on the street just means out of the library.
I mean, you're going to be on the street at some point.
out in the wild. Mac
Right.
in the wild.
Okay.
Mac in the
Wow.
wild. Yeah.
Okay.
Wild
I mean, this
now.
has turned
Mac-
into like a
Mac wild
teaser
now.
of.
Wild now. He said-
Okay. This has turned into like a teaser for the first official episode,
I
Sure,
think so.
right.
which
Probably.
it's
I was
probably going to
just
be
trying
your,
to give
your
yeah.
experience from TNLA,
Okay. So we're
and
still,
hopefully you'll have some stories as
And-
long as y'all
I'll have them with
get
you.
and
into
some of these
fun.
library people have podcasts, so
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to them about their situation,
Maybe some interviews.
get some advice,
Yeah.
maybe take
Quick
some
interviews, like
Yeah.
one or two.
I've
Like,
always got stories.
maybe
right?
take some, like-
We've always.
I can
quick-
tell you got one right now. I know. I can tell. It's your face.
But it has nothing to do with anything.
That's fine.
But I
We're
might be
three
like,
people with ADHD.
right, true.
Sitting
This
down
is true.
talking.
This is true. I am medicated currently.
Oh well.
Never have been.
For my ADHD.
I never have been.
Well,
but I need to.
I wasn't for a long time ago.
I think I'm at the point now where even if I went and they were like, "Yeah, you can get medicine for this," I probably just wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I
It might
feel.
mess you up. You're used to it.
That's
yeah,
true.
You've learned to cope.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you
Nicole
get that
has been,
ADHD,
reading
You talking
up
about the
on it.
manic? You talking about the manic?
no, I'm
Like,
talking about like the cleaning or like.
That's called mania.
Oh well. You get that, and you get a lot of stuff done.
Nicole
I
has
live
been
for
reading
that,
up on
but
the ADHD. Nicole is my wife, for anyone that doesn't know. She's been reading up on the ADHD
Yeah.
stuff and everything, and it's like she keeps talking about this stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I
There you
mean
go.
that probably, I probably
isn't
have
about
ADHD. It's just-
you probably
But why am
might.
Oh, I'm purely
I'm doing all right
self-diagnosed.
with ADHD.
I'm
I
purely
can't do my
not. I'm
laundry,
purely
but,
doctor diagnosed. My
can't get-
mother is a clinical. She's a psychotherapist,
Oh.
so she diagnosed me plenty early
Yeah.
and put me on Ritalin as soon as I could. But
Oh.
this book that's in my stack here is called "Getting Out of Your Head: Stopping the Spiral of Toxic Thoughts," and I think that's probably could be connected to.
That's a helpful sounding book. I'm a fan of nonfiction. Some people aren't. But I like to, when I read, I like to read a nonfiction
Yeah,
every
me
now
too.
and then. I throw that in there.
Me too.
I've read a couple fantasy books. Maybe I might run over and read, a nonfiction
Yeah.
book now.
This one-
just something
Yeah.
small. A lot of them are small books.
This one is by Jenny Allen, and it seems to have a Christian lean.
Okay.
So if you're interested in that,
I'm not.
well, that's okay.
If you're
But-
interested
I'm
in
sure
having
there's another
fun,
book. How many books do we have here?
39,000.
39,000
Well, that's not
books?
just books. That's everything.
That's
So
everything.
that's
So the hotspots,
hotspots,
everything in the
laptops,
things library,
things, puzzles,
puzzles,
DVDs.
DVDs, yeah, everything. 40,000.
we have
Yeah.
40,000 things that could be
39
checked out.
Right.
40,000 items to be checked out,
Yeah,
and most of them are books.
Right.
you are
I
a
mean,
library.
We
But
are in a library.
Libraries
the
aren't
point
just books.
of this podcast, not the whole point, but a large point of
Yes.
it, is to show the other things that we do have,
Right.
Oh,
to
other than
highlight
books.
other things that we do have.
Okay.
Like
Well,
our library of things, which I just used yesterday.
Yeah,
for
shocker.
one, the things library. of
And
things.
we'll be in the things one time.
We're actually using the library of things right now.
We are.
Because we are represented with our mixing board, the library of things. We have a
We have
portable
a record listening
what do we
station.
Call this? It's a
set.
podcasting kit. It's
Yeah,
like
kit.
a portable podcasting. So you could go if you have a laptop, which you can also check out a laptop. You can check out the laptop and the podcasting kit, and you can go out to the
Make
park
your own podcast.
and sit down and make your own
Podcart?
podcast with all of your friends.
Or if you're just like a student and you need to just record your voice for something
Yeah.
and you want it to be like a little more professional, you
Yeah.
can do that. You don't even
You
have
could.
to use it for a podcast.
I mean, if you wanted to go that far,
If you're trying
you
to get
could
into
just
voiceover.
rent or book the studio
True.
and do it all in there. There's a podcasting station set up there with the microphones
Yeah.
and the computer to do all the recording on. There's also the other side of the studio, which is set up for music recording. And there's also photography capabilities. We're using the camera from the studio, right?
Yes.
Which is also where we'll do a lot of the editing.
You could talk about something else you did in the studio,
Oh, we have
which people would have already heard by
yeah.
now.
Yeah, you know what? We
The jingle.
do. We do have a little jingle. in the
Fully
beginning of our
produced.
show. Fully produced.
By you in the studio.
By Rich.
Yeah. Mixed.
The sound
I
guy.
wouldn't say mastered, but mixed. Mixed
I
and
mean-
not mastered.
Doesn't have to be mastery.
No, there's a lot of moving parts.
I think the whole vibe of this podcast and just us in general is very authentic.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why
And
it's,
Yeah.
I think
Tell the
it,
people what to think. That's right.
yeah. I'm gonna tell them.
I think it also demonstrates that like you don't have to have like a ton of knowledge about podcasts or about the studio to do your own thing, start
Yeah.
your own thing, and like that you can come to the library to like
Yeah.
learn
You
about
know,
that and figure it out.
I think one of the important things to talk about though is that
Rich is gonna cover everything.
He's his own. He has his own show.
He's
What
gonna
are you
cover
even doing
everything
here?
we're ever gonna talk about on the podcast
Yeah.
today.
Right
no,
now.
But I just like to throw a disclaimer out
Okay.
there every now and then. One of my main disclaimers that I've been using for most of my life is I don't know everything.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
if you know a better way to do something,
Absolutely,
please tell me.
please.
And if you run into someone who says they do know everything,
They don't.
then don't listen to them.
Right.
And now that I went on that, I don't remember what I was going to say. I do.
Everything
It was
we
about
say
the
should be
studio.
taken with a grain of salt.
Yes.
And I think that's with any podcast.
What I was
ever.
trying to say was where I was getting to. Roundabout way.
Let him go.
You know,
Just let him
roundabout way. I'm, up
He's
around
the
the
Diet
curve.
Pepsi guy.
About
Yeah,
3 more
you know, that's what
miles
they
to
do
go,
to
right? 3 more miles to go, and we'll pull in the driveway, and then we'll get there. So it's about, when you do come up here to use the studio or use the podcasting stuff, we have knowledge about it, and we can show you a little bit, but we're not there to help
No,
you through
we're not
producing a
experts.
whole album or producing a whole podcast.
We're not experts.
You can sit in that studio and
Learn.
go online
Yeah.
and watch videos.
You can
and
book the studio out for all day and
You
learn
can book
that.
it for the whole day.
And
a lot of people do
then
that.
come back the next day and use what you've learned.
Yeah,
And one of our friends, library people, is working on some instructional videos
Mm-hmm.
for some of the software that we have. So that's upcoming.
So,
I don't know how long it'll take him, but
we'll
it won't
have
be
to
too much
have him
longer.
on the show when
Brent,
that comes to
he'll be
fruition.
glad to be on the show. He has his
Um,
own. He has 2 podcasts of his own.
Yeah, and we have several people who use the studios who we can also have on the show.
Absolutely.
So we're developing a thing there, but I don't want to take up all your time with studio stuff. Since
But
we're
you
here,
have,
Clearly you
you
do.
have.
well, we wanted to talk about. Am I controlling the show?
No, maybe you should sit in the middle.
Trying to fill dead air.
No,
We don't-
I think it's
I mean,
fine.
It
This
doesn't
is what
have-
it is.
It's not dead
This
air.
is what it is. What do you
Yeah.
got? I know you got something else. What do you got?
This is gonna be like
We were talking about
when you
the,
and I
Yeah.
looking at each
The
other while he's
diet,
talking, and then
okay.
it's gonna be like
I just slowly zoom in on us.
slowly zoom out.
Yeah, we
Everything
slowly
goes
fade
blurry.
him out, zooms into us.
Yeah.
and we're like, he's got
Anyway.
the Diet Pepsi over there.
I guess this is time to take a drink.
I've been drinking my Diet Coke.
Yeah, whatever.
Do we want to?
The main thing I was going.
Okay.
You know, what?
No. Go ahead.
Don't let me cut you off.
Do we want to, now that you've...
Wait, let me turn you up a little bit.
Yeah, of course. Do you want to...
Never mind.
I mean, you've kind of given us a name in the intro of Katie and the Diet Boys.
Sure, you want me to explain that?
Yeah, why don't you talk about
Yeah.
Katie and the Diet Boys, and then maybe we can say how we three have come together, and then that can be...
Yeah.
We'll go from there.
It was a late night.
I don't know about all that.
It was stormy.
It was stormy. It was 19...
The clouds choked the sky
2001.
overhead.
So I was asked by the Diet Boys to explain it, but they're doing it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm paying attention. What?
So
When are we eating lunch again?
I'm the boss, if you can't tell.
I could tell.
Well, they might not be able to. No. So Logan likes Diet Coke. I'm also Team Diet Coke. But the way that Diet Boys became a thing is that Logan likes Diet Coke and Rich prefers Diet Pepsi. And so they're the Diet Boys. Then it just became kind of like a joke because like I often like say, hey, I need help unloading my car if I go to the store or whatever. So then it was like, we need the Diet Boys. So then it kind of became like a
Diet Boys
regular
assemble.
thing. So Diet Boys assemble. So then we came up with Katie and the Diet Boys because we thought that would be a good band name. And so then we decided, we finally landed on our name for our podcast, Yappin in the Stacks, which was, a long time in the making of trying to come up with a good name. And so we said, Yappin in the Stacks with Katie and the Diet Boys would be a good,
That's pretty good.
total package. So.
That's pretty good. And I mean, I feel like me and you get called for all the random things of like, hey, we need to unload this car full of books or whatever it is.
There's a cow coming into the library.
Yeah, there was
Exactly.
a cow that one time, yeah.
And so then
we can give
we
more.
just kind of became Diet Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, or
As
we
a
need to set
dynamic
up,
duo.
we need to set up a room real quick, or
Right.
we need to do,
Exactly.
because at the library, you always
Lots of
end up
things
doing
happen.
stuff that you're not, you wouldn't expect, right?
We are
Stuff
not.
you wouldn't expect.
We don't just sit around and read books all day.
Unlike popular
I mean,
opinion.
Logan does.
Okay. 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there,
No.
out on our balconies. What
Unlike
do you want
popular
from me?
opinion, we do not just sit and read all day. It is not a quiet job. It is not a job where we just get to sit at our desks and because I've heard a lot of people say like, "Oh, I want to work at the library because I would just sit there and
chill.
quiet all day and just chill."
It's not that quiet.
I mean, there are days when it's chill.
There are
We
days
don't
when
have
it's chill.
a lot going
There
on.
are, but
Yeah.
But you
there's
kinda need those.
always something to be doing though.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah, I
it's
need
not-
to shift shelves. I
yeah.
need to,
And so we'll give tidbits about that on the pod as well.
I also think it's a common misconception that we just throw books on shelves and then never touch them again until we have to put them back
we'll
on the
talk
shelf.
about weeding,
Which isn't true.
shifting, all those library terms that people don't know about,
yeah.
and like why we have space at the end.
Oh, that's a good one. I'd like to know that.
I mean,
I
one
know
of our
why.
We're gonna get to it at the
I have
pod
a different
eventually
opinion,
one day.
though.
one of our
Okay.
one of
You know,
our
I've got
first
opinions.
things
There's
as
There's lots
Diet
of
Boys.
different opinions in the library.
I love sharing my
What,
opinion.
Logan?
One of our first jobs as the Diet Boys was to create 2 new sections that we
This
can
is
talk
true.
about
This
Yeah,
is
we'll have to
true.
talk
that we
about that
maybe
in a
shouldn't
further
name
episode.
because we'll probably go
It'll be a
there.
reveal.
Yeah, we'll-
It'll be a
we'll-
reveal.
we'll
but it
have
was,
a-
we had made the decision to remove one of them, and then we realized that was a mistake, which happens.
Yeah.
You do things
Yeah.
in your life, in your world, in the library world, whatever, and then sometimes you realize, maybe we should go back to how we did it before.
And I think a good
And we
thing
should change
that
it a little
you
bit.
as a boss do, and I feel like a lot of libraries in general allow for, is your employees to pursue what they're passionate
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and that's very important.
about. And part of that is what we're doing right now.
Yeah, that's very important because if we're all like cogs in a machine just doing like our basic duties, there's no passion. So like,
Right.
we'd be technically, yes, we'd be doing our jobs.
Yeah.
But ultimately, no, because the way that we reach the community is like Logan being interested in D&D and offering that so that the people in D&D that are interested in the community that are interested in D&D come into the library. Rich helping out with the instruments and the studio, and so that the people that are interested in music come into the library. I'm interested in theater and lots of different things like that. So me doing programs, cooking, I do a cooking class. That brings another group into the community, into the library. And I also get to do something I love, which is cook. So it makes me want to come to work.
Mm-hmm.
And then that bleeds into the library work itself.
Right, and
such as us moving and making, doing our first job as Diet Boys.
Yeah.
What's that?
As the duo.
The news sections,
Yeah, the news
which
section.
we're not going to name.
We'll go there at some point.
We'll go there.
We'll
Not
be there.
today.
And then we
tell you.
can talk about that
teasing.
process.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It was a great process. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I think that that's
it's,
one of the things
you know,
that
to
people
some
don't know.
people they would probably think it was very boring.
Right,
But
it's kind of fun.
You know, I mean,
it's like a treasure hunt.
I
It's like a
think
mystery.
you know, there was another topic we talked about previously before our podcast Evan was off the ground. You know, where Logan had made a comment like, you need, you know, I think for most things you need someone that's passionate about that thing,
Yes.
or at least has some interest in
Right.
it, right?
Yeah.
And
If you're gonna
if you
do
have,
it-
if you're surrounded by people who are passionate about what they do, then you know
Yeah, it creates a good work
it
environment.
does.
And it also creates a good environment for the community because they can absolutely tell
Yeah.
when they walk in the building.
You can tell when someone wants to be there
Yes.
and when they're forced to be
Yeah.
there.
If somebody walks in
Oh,
this
yeah.
building and if the first person they see at the front desk is unhappy, then
Yeah.
they're going to realize that, like, ooh,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
It's like, it doesn't create a good environment.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you got to be friendly.
Right.
I've had conversations with other people about that. You know?
Yeah.
It just doesn't cost much to be friendly.
just
you know?
smile, say
say
hello.
You know,
What's that?
a couple-
What's that statistic we've heard about librarians? They're like the most
shushing?
trusted jobs.
Oh, right, yes. Okay, so I know about that. And Catherine from the region
Yeah.
told us about that, which maybe she'll be on the pod someday.
Oh,
I would love to have her on
She
the
would
pod.
do- she would do
She'd
it.
do a
Oh,
good
yeah.
job on the pod.
She'd have a good time.
So they told us that, and I believe that the Tennessee State Library informed us of this, but I think it's an ALA study maybe, that they've surveyed all of these people in the nation, and they asked them what the most trusted occupations were, and with doctors and teachers, I believe librarians are in the
We're up
top
there.
3 of the most trusted occupations. So that's great, and it's good to know. It's also kind of like stressful in a way because it's like people trust you, so you
Yeah.
need to make sure what you're telling them is, what, to your knowledge, the truth,
Yeah.
and that you help them find
Well,
the
and
truth. That's what librarians do. We don't know everything. We help people
No.
find.
Yeah.
How to know everything.
We're more so to help you on the process.
Right.
In the journey of it.
And that reference interview is important.
Yeah.
Like when a patron is asking you, "Hey, I'm looking for tax form," right?
Right.
Right
Right.
now,
Yeah.
we're almost to
Yeah.
tax day. You know, well, we need to know which tax form they need. We need to know what kind of business
Right.
they have. We need to know what
Yeah.
And so those questions are part of a librarian's job every single day. Every one of us, not just the front desk, not just you know.
Yeah. Well, Logan, what's your position?
I was about to go
at the
there.
library?
You read my
Ah,
mind.
yeah.
That's because we're connected
Y'all are-
here.
y'all are
Diet
ESP.
Boys.
Hey.
We're the yin and yang.
Yay.
Oh,
The yin and yang
Yes,
of
I like
Diet
it.
Boys.
And y'all do have ESP. We've already determined that.
Yeah, we do.
What is that? Oh, that's the
Yeah.
mind
Mind
connection.
What is that? Come
Yeah,
on.
come on. say it in fantasy
Say
sci-fi
it in
terms.
Say it in Dungeons and Dragons.
Dragon.
Exactly.
Dragon connection. We can come
Dragon
up with a
connection.
name.
Okay, we can
I
do
don't know
it.
about that.
We can do it. No, I'm the
Yeah, well, yeah. What is
Rich
it?
said, "Man."
I'm the
What is
IT
it?
coordinator.
The IT coordinator. So, what is your
a large
main-
part of that is assisting patrons with anything technology,
Yeah.
and that can be from their phone to their laptop to a software issue,
Okay.
or submitting a form or finding a form.
Yeah.
Or asking
Anything
for
with
advice.
Accessing their
Yeah.
stuff.
Yes,
right?
or asking for advice about spam and scam stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
That's a lot of
phishing
times-
emails
yeah.
and text.
So
a
you
lot of
do
people get.
more than just with the patrons. You know, we'll talk about your. I'm sure
Yeah.
in a future podcast we'll talk about more in depth about your. You know.
The
Yeah, I
tech-
mean, there's a
tech
lot.
help and
There's
all
a,
that
well,
stuff,
and there's a lot of
you know.
technology that it takes to run,
especially a library
Yeah,
of this
and-
size.
not just for patrons, but for all of the things we offer,
Yeah.
which is more than just books, like our computers,
Well, I
our
imagine
computer classroom. But
just having Wi-Fi for all of this equipment and
Yeah, it's
all the,
Well,
the
and the
networks.
community. I mean, it's
and
on
everything.
24/7.
Yeah.
Whoever is
Well,
around our building.
the networks are all connected to
right.
something magical in
The
the back
server.
room that I know nothing about. But we have an IT coordinator who knows how to coordinate all
Totally
the people
know
that.
all about.
And we're lucky enough to have Chad and CJ to
Yes.
give us
Well,
full
yeah,
help.
that's what I mean. You're
Yeah.
the coordinator, so you can coordinate all.
You
of
coordinate,
You
right.
coordinate all.
You don't
of the,
necessarily have to fix every problem.
Right.
You just have to
Yeah.
make sure it does get fixed.
Yeah,
Eventually.
Exactly. You gotta know who to call.
Yeah.
Not
I
the
gotta,
Ghostbusters.
I gotta call someone about that
Chad
problem.
and CJ, not the Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, Chad and CJ.
Yeah,
Or-
they're
or
our.
Mr.
You gotta know who to send an email to.
Or
Is
Mr.
really
Happy.
what it comes down to.
Yeah,
Yeah, he fixed it though. He was on it.
We're getting
It
in
was
the
done.
weeds here on this stuff.
We can
That's
edit
what we
it
do.
out.
That computer, that thing keeps shutting down and restarting and everything.
Again?
Yeah.
Today?
Yeah, like some lady was trying to print
Mr.
something.
Happy.
and
Mr.
it-
Happy.
It like shut down and restarted real quick.
Okay.
It's like real quick.
Well, he was trying to update the firmware
Yeah.
remotely. So
Maybe he did it again.
We'll give him a call Monday.
That's true.
That's Monday's problem.
That's a Monday thing. We're not open.
I won't be here. Probably.
You'll be here
Couple
Monday,
hours.
for a couple hours.
I have to check my schedule.
Well, you'll be here
should
tomorrow.
should I
I don't
check
know.
how long we've gone on for?
I think we probably need to wrap it up.
Let's just check. I can cut this out.
I know.
We're at 26 minutes.
Yeah, we probably
And
need to wrap it up. That's
I've
good.
got to cut in
The intro, the song.
everything like that. So this is a good length, I
Yeah.
think.
All right. So what our future podcasts? What did we say?
So
that
the
was?
first episode, TNLA experience, probably maybe a little other stuff peppered
Little
in there.
Mac on the streets.
Little Mac on the
Maybe
street.
some
Little
interviews.
we gotta,
Katie
we
and,
cut in.
gotta, we gotta get her roped in, but I think she'll do it. She and I talked about it a little,
Little
bit today.
Katie in the conference center.
Oh, I can do that. Katie in the conference center. I definitely recording. You know, I was thinking earlier when we were talking that like those librarians that do have podcasts, maybe I'll get them like give me one piece of advice
Yeah.
for somebody starting a podcast, and then it'll be good for the audience and for us.
Yeah.
Very good.
So yeah, I'm excited. Looking
And-
forward to it.
We're going to move around. So we might
We'll get to
eventually
see
come
the whole-
back.
We might go. We're going to the children's department.
Yeah.
We're going to go all over.
We might eventually come back to the new rivals.
Yeah.
But
Ooh, when we're in the children's department, we're going to be a little.
we can
Yeah,
sit
yeah,
in
that'll
a
be
little
fun.
baby chairs. That would
Absolutely.
be
Let's
fun.
do it. Let's do it.
I'm definitely not going to look dumb sitting
But
in
I'm
the
gonna
baby
need your
chairs.
help changing the Xbox while we're down there and putting it on the right source. So,
Okay.
because you
Alright.
do that a lot.
Yes, a lot.
Yeah. The
And
IT
how do you turn the
director. So
controller on?
basically, the IT coordinator's job is to change the input on the TV.
Right.
The
Sometimes.
HDMI
Sometimes.
one.
It's
that is
probably
your job.
like 20% of it.
Yeah.
And the other like 60% is how to send an email,
Yes. Yes.
which is fine. It's easy stuff.
Hey, you know, that's vital.
Yeah.
Well,
Teaching somebody how to send an email is vital information,
I
especially in
think
today's
our
world.
first.
Now, should we cheers
Yes,
to
we
close
should.
it out?
Yeah,
Because
even
that
though
would
I'm almost
be
done with my drink.
that would
I
be
got
pretty
half
fun.
of one here.
I've been drinking.
So how do you want to see you next time?
Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment.
Are we doing all that? Are
Sure,
we,
why not?
Okay. All right,
I
go
mean,
ahead.
we want a following, right?
Like, comment, and subscribe for more.
Or actually, I noticed that two people that were fans of Rhett Link, they say
that
now
we're friends of. Fans of.
Yeah, we're mythical beasts.
Someone over there.
We're working on it. That they say now, like, share, comment. They don't even say subscribe anymore. I wonder if like the algorithm has changed. It doesn't really matter, but I'm just saying. I did notice that, like,
Whatever
starting
you-
this
whatever you wanna do
season,
it
they
out.
changed what they say at the end. Okay, this has been Katie and the Diet Boys,
Yeah.
yapping in the stacks.
We yapped.
We yapped, and we're in the stacks, and it's been fun, and it's gonna be fun.
Rich, you gonna-
Cheers.
See you next time.
See you next time.
Hey.